Hey guys, how's it going? How's it going, family? It's Garrett again from Deep Divers Bible Study. I got a special one for you. God has really laid it on my heart. I was trying to figure out what He wanted me to do, and again, He's just teaching the order that He taught me. So there's a reason why He did that, obviously. One of the other first things He showed me is where was really about the sacrifices of Jesus and Abraham and everything, and how they're related and everything. And so this one is basically, is Jesus really the promised sacrifice for sin? And so let me show you. So again, these videos He taught me from the Old Testament, growing up to the New. I read the New Testament, and then the things are relating to each other. And so I want you to understand the sacrifices first, because if you don't understand sacrifices, you're not going to understand significance. So Leviticus 1:2-4, he said, "Speak unto the children of Israel and say unto them, if any man of you bring an offering unto the Lord, you shall bring the offering of the cattle, even of the herd of the flock. If his offering is a burnt sacrifice of the herd, let him offer a male without blemish." So that's without spot, without sin. That's what that stands for. So now you have an understanding. And an offering would be a burnt, so he would offer it with his own voluntary will. That's important. Keep that in your mind. So that's important. And it shall be accepted for him to make atonement for the sin. Okay. And so let's go to 10. So we drop down to 10. An offering may be of flocks, mainly of sheep, of goats. So we heard of cattle. We heard of sheep. We heard of goats. That's important. And drill that in your head. Okay. Cattle, sheep, goats. And you shall bring a male without blemish. And then let's jump to 14. You shall cut it into pieces with its head and the fat, and the priest shall lay in order the wood which is on fire and laid upon the altar. Sorry. And the inwards of the legs with water. So they wash the inwards. They clean the inside of the cup. What did Jesus say? It's more important to clean the inside of the cup, and then the outside rather than the outside, right? Because they're ugly on the inside, And so this is an example of washing of, first the inside, then the out. It's a sweet savoring, sweet smelling to the Lord. So it's a sacrifice offering to God. And so now Genesis 22:2-4. Let me back up here. So his own voluntary will. So 22 through 2-4, and he said, "Take now the son." This is Abraham's taking his son for sacrifice. God said to do this, and thou lovest thee to the land of Moriah. Moriah. Yeah, I'm saying that right. Okay, land of Moriah. So keep an eye on that. Okay, an offering for burnt offering upon one of the mountains, which I will tell thee of. Okay. And Abraham rose up early in the morning and sat on his ass and took 2 of his young men with him and Isaac his son, and cleaved the wood and burnt offering, and rose up and went to the place of which God had told him. Right. And then now before we move on though, then on the third day, Abraham lifted up his eyes and saw a place far off. Right. So we're still in the land of Moriah. Right. Keep in mind, it's the third day. God told him to sacrifice his son in a place in that land, which, ironically, if you look up Moriah, what does it mean? It's actually pretty cool. The question is, though, did I write it down? And I don't think did I? Yep, no, it is. It says, "God is my teacher. The land of God is my teacher," which is pretty cool. By the way, so that's pretty cool. That's what Moriah means in Hebrew. And so, so before we move on from that, though, so we left off at 4. So it's on the third day, right? We saw the place far off. Now, the reason why I want to jump on to backtrack a little bit to Genesis 27, because you have to know about something about Abraham. I didn't even know this was an issue, people question if Abraham was even a prophet. Okay, don't get him misconfused with fortune teller. Okay, people often think that spiritual gift is that's the devil's counterfeit. Okay, guys. Anyway, if you hear the God's voice, that's prophet. Okay, it doesn't mean you tell the future. You may speak the future, foretell the future, and not even realize it. Right. And so now, therefore, restore the man his wife, for he is a prophet, and he shall pray for thee, and thou shalt live, and thou will restore her not. Now where thou surely die. So what's going on? I can't even say his name. Amalek wrote. He was having issues with that, and I think he was in. Abraham was in prison at this time, and he was trying to go after his wife. Is what was happening, and bad things were happening. Because God wasn't very happy. I believe that's what was going on. I could be wrong, but this isn't the story I'm focusing on. So Abraham's a prophet. Says so right there. 27. Now let's go back. So 22:7. Isaac spoke to Abraham, his father, and said, "My father," he said. "Here am I, my son." And he said, "Behold the fire and the wood, but where is the lamb for the burnt offering?" And Abraham said, so his son's asking, where's the lamb? And Abraham said, "My son, God will provide himself a lamb for a burnt offering." So they went both together. Now, he said that God will provide himself a lamb. Okay. He doesn't realize it, but he's foretelling something here, and he doesn't know it. And so let's go on to 12 through 13. And they said, "Look thine hand upon the lad, neither have you anything with him." So he was about to kill his son, sacrifice him. The angel of the Lord came out of heaven, the angel of Yahweh, and said, "Abraham, Abraham." He said, "Here am I." And he said, "Don't you lay a hand upon that lad, neither would you do anything unto him. For now I know that you fear God, seeing that thou hast withheld the son, thy only son, from me. You haven't withheld him from me." And Abraham lifted up his eyes and looked. Now let me keep reading. And Abraham lifted up his eyes and looked, and behold, behind him a ram caught in a thicket of thorns. Abraham went and took the ram and offered him up a burnt offering into the stead in the stead of his son. Okay, so did God tell him to sacrifice the ram? No. He looked up and saw it. Okay? He just looked up and saw it. So, is a ram a suitable sacrifice for sin? No. No, it's not. We just read that in Leviticus, right? Now remember that. It's not. So, and he did say that God was going to provide a sacrifice. Now it says here later on that God took this as righteousness because he had faith in him, right? And he feared him. So that imputed righteousness onto Abraham. We know that from the New Testament. So where's this sacrifice for Abraham and his family? Where's that? So keep in mind, we're still on Mount Moriah, okay? If I'm saying it right. And and Abraham was a prophet, and he told his son that God's going to provide a lamb for himself. Okay? And so let's jump to Isaiah 59. So I'm thinking about all this while I'm reading, and God's teaching me. And so Isaiah 59, 13 through 17. "In transgressions and lying to the Lord." So this is after, Jesus was on the cross. God's looking down and seeing that in Isaiah, truth fell to the ground. Everyone's being unrighteous. There's no judgment. Law fell to the ground. It says here, "The judgment has turned backwards. There is no judgment. Justice was standing far off, for truth has fallen in the street, and equity cannot enter. Truth was failing, and he that was trying to depart from evil made himself a prey. And the Lord saw it, and it displeased him that there was no judgment." Of course, God is a God of judgment, right? And righteousness. And so he's not happy. And he saw that there was no man And he wondered why there was no intercessor. No one was intercessing to him, offering for sin and praying and everything. And so therefore his arm brought salvation unto him. Yahweh's arm, okay? And his righteousness, it sustained him. For he put on righteousness as a breastplate, a helmet of salvation, but in Hebrew it says Yeshua, upon his head. Yeshua is the Hebrew name for Jesus. Means salvation. And he put on garments of vengeance for clothing and was clad with zeal as cloak. So who came down? God did. His arm did. And again, if I go out of the screen and stick my arm out, is this still me? Is this still part of me? Yeah. Okay, so keep in mind his arm. Now we know who the arm is. It's been revealed. Who hath believed our report? Isaiah 53. And to whom is the arm of the Lord revealed? For he shall grow up before as a tender plant, and as a root out of a dry ground. He has no form or comeliness, and that we should see him. There is no beauty that we should even desire him. He is despised and rejected of men, a man of sorrows, acquainted with grief, and we hid as if our faces from him. He was despised, and we esteemed him not. Surely he hath borne our griefs, and carried our sorrows. Yet we esteemed him stricken, smitten of God, and afflicted. But he was wounded for our transgressions. He was bruised for our iniquities. The chastisement of peace was upon him, and by his stripes we're all healed. All we are like sheep gone astray. We have turned every one into his own way. And the Lord had laid on him iniquity of us all. He was oppressed, and he was afflicted, yet he didn't open up his mouth. He was brought as a lamb to the slaughter. What? And as a sheep before the shearers is dumb, so he opened up his mouth. He didn't open up his mouth. He was taken from prison and from judgment, and who shall declare his generation? For he was cut off from the land of the living. For the transgressions of his people was he stricken. He made his grave with the wicked, with the rich in his death, because he has done no violence, neither was there any deceit in his mouth. He was blameless, spotless. Yet it pleased the Lord to bruise him. He hath put him to grief. When he shall make his soul an offering for sin, he shall see his seed, and he shall prolong his ways, and the pleasure of the Lord shall prosper in his hand. He shall see the travail of his soul, and shall be satisfied. By his knowledge shall my righteous servant justify many, for he shall bear their iniquities. By his knowledge shall my righteous servant justify many. Who's his servant? His arm. Who's God's arm? Himself. It's his arm. It's Yahweh's arm. To whom has the arm been revealed? Therefore I will divide a portion of the great, and shall divide the spoil with the strong, because he hath poured out his soul unto death, and he has been numbered with the transgressors. And he bare the sin of many, and made a intercession for the transgressors. Wait, hold on. Let's go back. What did God say? Wondered why there was no intercessor? 59:16. Therefore his arm brought salvation unto him, and his righteousness it sustained him. Sorry. He bare the sin of many and made intercession for the transgressors, sinners. Where was Jesus crucified? Where was he? Where did he bear our sin? Where did he do that? Matthew 27:33, Mark 15:22, and John 19:17. Golgotha. I can't read it all because I will sob. I'm trying to hold it back now. (1930) When Jesus therefore he received the vinegar, he said, "It is finished." What's finished? What? What's finished? Where did this come from? Why would he say that? Where is Golgotha? Where is it? Does anyone know? It's the same mountain of Mount Moriah that Abraham was promised to sacrifice. And he thought it was a ram, but a ram isn't suitable. There was no intercessor. And so God came down. His arm brought salvation. He was numbered with our transgressions. And he died for me. He died for you. Jesus is the promised sacrifice. The promised sacrifice in Deuteronomy 32:43. I found this and I thought it'd be a cool thing to tell. God showed this to me because I'm just reading in Hebrew nonstop. And some things, translations have issues. Not so much with King James, they're usually spot on. This is a rarity that I found this. And he showed it to me for a reason, for this reason. And so if you jump down to 32:43, what's it originally say is, "Rejoice, O ye nations, Gentiles, with his people, for he will avenge the blood of his servants and render vengeance to his adversaries, and will be merciful unto his land and to his people." That had me thinking. I was like, what does that mean? Why is merciful to the land? So I started, this is before I knew I could find, really started digging. So I'm looking here and they're all, merciful is, it's all the same. Nothing here, nothing here. But I saw the New King James Version, which didn't quite make sense to me. It said he'll provide atonement for his land and his people. But if you look at all the others, there's only a couple that says he'll atone for his land, he'll atone. So this is one instance where I found that the old King James was missing almost something here. Because that's a big thing. That's a prophecy from Moses, right? And so God says he will make atonement for his people, guys. It's Deuteronomy 32:43. Song of Moses. Moses is talking about in those days. This is what will happen. And it came to be. Thank you, God. I didn't deserve it. But I'm grateful. So write this stuff down. Share it with who you want to. Sorry, I started crying. Like I told you, I couldn't really hold it together. I tried warning you. Now, the amazing thing is, that's a miracle, though. Before I was saved, I would never have felt that way. As I'm sure you guys would have too. But it's evidence, right? It's proof that if you should feel sad at those parts, he's your God. God came down, sent his only beloved son, his arm, right? For you, for me. So, share this, like, comment, share, please. I'm being blocked, I feel, from YouTube and stuff. I can't even find my own videos when I search for them, like even for my own name. It's amazing. Yeah, I'm not being shared. And so if anyone does see this, please share, like, comment, anything, just so I know that it impacted you. I mean, even if I help one person, that's all that matters. I know I'm kind of all over the place, but I'm praying that God made it make sense to some of you people. Gave you guys eyes to see and a heart of understanding. I have horrible ADD. It's really bad. And I don't know. He gave me the gift of teaching, but I can't talk unless he allows me to. It's bad. You're seeing some of it now, but it's bad. I can do my sales job very easily. I can talk all day, but when it comes to this stuff, I can't speak unless he wants me to, unless he gives me the words to say. And that's why I tell people that if it's a gift from God, it's going to humble you. It's not of you. A gift doesn't puff you up if it's from God. How do you know if it's not from God? If it puffs you up, you become prideful. You see the people speaking gibberish. I mean, you have the whole church speaking gibberish. I actually found a passage the other day that says that God will, it's a curse. He says that if your heart's prideful and you want to be puffed up and prideful and everything, and it's a gift from him, a gift that's not from God is smoke, he says. Smoke and mirrors. And I can show you another video. I'm going to do that for the gifts video. But, I mean, search your hearts. Who's center stage here? You? Why are you? It's not for me. This gift isn't for me. I don't have time to do this. The video all the time. I'm doing it because I was told to. I don't want clout. I just hope I help someone. I don't want to sit here scrambling in random words that are gibberish to scare people away. How does that help anyone? I want to help you. I help your neighbors. I want to help your family, your friends. The war going on right now. Could you imagine if we all loved Jesus? If we all actually followed God and his son? Would we be fighting like brothers, sisters? The Abrahamic family religion, which Abraham was known for what? Faith. But they want to do it with works. You can't save yourself. We can't. Stop trying. Stop trying. The day you stop trying is the day you wake up. The day you stop trying to save yourself is the day you'll be saved. You can't save yourself. You can't. I tried. I thought I knew all. And I know nothing. Like, comment, share, please. Stay tuned for the next one. Sorry I get emotional again, guys. That's what he does to you. He makes grown men cry. I used to be harder than a rock. I had no feelings. Your traditional dude and bodybuilder, powerlifter. I felt nothing, and now I'm a smushy, gushy marshmallow thing. But that's what he does. If you're your own idol, he crushes you, and then he'll crush you, and then hopefully he rebuilds you into what you're supposed to be. So, again, like, comment, share this with anyone. I am being blocked. I know I am. I'm hardly seeing anyone. And the ones that do, I feel blessed to help you guys. It's showing that this is meant to be for you guys. So again, it's not for me. Don't thank me. I don't know anything. This is all him. I'm just a tool in his hands. I got a lot more stories to tell you guys. I just don't know when the right time is. So stay tuned. I will be doing videos every week. So multiple. I'm trying to do multiple. But all right, see you guys. I'm gonna go, otherwise I won't shut up.